Hey guys, Adam here from the Tint Academy. We're going through the 4 most common mistakes when it comes to tinting a back window. Now in this video, we're just doing the prep on the outside because that's where most of tinters struggle with, is the actual outside cutting, shrinking, and prepping. Now these are our four most common errors. Error number 1 is they don't do a proper dry shrink. We do a dry shrink so it allows the soap in between the film and the glass so the film can float on the glass. We get a proper shrink. Issue number 2 is they don't build their quadrants properly. Once I set my film up, we want to build 4 quadrants that represent 4 small windows. Issue 3 is not making sure our fingers are going vertical. If our fingers start going off to the side or horizontal and I add my hard card to it, it's going to damage the film. Also, not using enough heat. A lot of tinters are scared to use heat because they think they're going to burn the film. We want to do 4 to 5 seconds of heat so we get a proper shrink. And last, number 4 is not doing a wet shrink after I do my dry shrink. I know at the beginning of this I said we want a dry shrink, but after I do my dry shrink and I do my final cut, we're going to do a wet shrink. This mitigates any fingers that could pop up during my install, and it's a safety barrier so I don't have those fingers that pop up. So follow me, watch as we mitigate and get around those issues that you may commonly get while you're tinting your back window. Now, first thing I'm going to do is set up my dry shrink. We're just use these laundry detergent pads. We're actually just using a bounce sheet. There's also any brand that you can use. We've already done our outside prep. So this video is just on these steps that you may have an issue with. Now we're doing a light spray just to get it moist. Now after that, I'm going to soak my dryer sheet. I'm going to wipe my dryer sheet all across. We want full coverage of this window. Now this, when it dries, it's going to create a light soapy barrier between the film and the glass, allowing the film to float so I can shrink, move, and manipulate those fingers. Now if I was on a real car here, at this point in time, I would go do my inside prep, do my scrub, squeegee, make sure the inside is completely ready to go. Now if this is still wet, and you can see that it's still wet, we want to make sure it's dry. So I'm going to add just a little bit of heat just to dry that out. Now, a lot of tinters here, they don't want to wait. They're in a rush. They have a ton of cars going on. So they have still a little bit of humidity or moisture or even wet in that film. So we want to be completely dry. So I'm just going to dry out this back window to make sure that we get no wet spots on the film. We can have the chance of getting stuck to the actual window. Now I have my piece of film on the glass. We want to build our 4 quadrants. You can see it's all bunched up here. Remember, we can only shrink from factory edge to factory edge. So I'm going to put a little bit of anchor in my film, lift it up while I'm holding, and spread it towards me. As you can see, there's a natural flat line in the glass, and I'm going to reinforce that. Now these fingers on the side, I want to move them this way. So I'm going to push it down, which we're going to lock that side out, lock that side out. Right now, this is called building our H pattern, which we're going to build our 4 quadrants. So the right side's done. Now I'm going to do the left side. Pull this up, pull towards me, and come across. Then I'm going to push it up, come up, and come down. Now you can see I just built my H pattern. Once I build my H pattern, I want to come down the center. So right where the center antenna is, come straight down and straight up. So now I built 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. These represent 4 small roll down windows. So you need to set up your H pattern perfectly. Once I set up my H pattern, I'm going to bring my fingers down through, making sure that these are all going vertical. This is going to go into problem number 3 that you have. So we kind of have a blend of setting up your H pattern and then making sure those fingers are going horizontal. I'm going to focus on 1 quadrant at a time. So I'm going to add a little bit of heat to this to make sure that it's going to sit flat. So adding some heat, make sure these fingers kind of sit down and don't get as big. Now, when I'm shrinking this, I always want to work from the outside in. I'm going to work in 1-inch segments, which is almost 2 heat lines. So I'm going to add 4 to 5 seconds of heat for 2 heat lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, push. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come back to the edge here. Now you can see this finger is kind of coming up and blending together. As we talked about our principle in 2, I'm going to come down and break this finger up here. Come back to it across here. Come back to the edge. Break that up. It still keeps trying to get back to each other. And working our way all the way through. Now, as you can see here, I'm only focusing on one quadrant at a time, getting it flat. Once I'm done with this quadrant, move on to our next one. Again, same thing, break up those fingers, run a little bit of heat to get the film soft. And now I'm gonna work 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push. Now the fourth and final step that I want to do is a wet shrink. So just to review, we did our dry shrink, made sure it's completely dry underneath, built our H pattern into our 4 quadrants, used 4 to 5 seconds of heat per quadrant, working in a lateral pattern in 1 inch. Now we're going to do a dry shrink. I believe that when you shrink the film using the dry shrink method, you're only shrinking 90% of the film. So I want a perfectly good shrink so I have no issues when this film goes to lay on the inside of the glass. So the dry or the wet shrink is going to allow me to get rid of any kind of fingers that I may have. So I just simply lift up the film, wet underneath. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'll push out any big piece that I have and remake my H pattern. Come down the center. Difference this time is I'm going to push out all that extra slip solution so the film is completely onto the glass. As you can see here, I have a few fingers that are popping up. So if I were to go in and install this piece of film, I may have some fingers that are popping up they may need to work with afterwards. So here, pull my down. As you can see here, I have a couple fingers. Now I'm going to attack these fingers a little bit differently. So just like a side roll down window, I'm going to rotate my heat gun over top and just get rid of any fingering that I may have. There we have. Those are 4 major issues that we see the common window tinter experience. So just a quick review. Set up your dry shrink, build your 4 quadrants. You need enough heat, 4 to 5 seconds, and make sure your fingers are always going vertical. Last but not least, a little bit of a bonus is always do a wet shrink after you dry. This is going to mitigate any issues that you may have when you go to install this. Remember, this video was just on the problems that you may have installing window film. If you want to see the full way from outside prep, inside prep, shrinking the film, cutting the film, and installing, we do have a video down below that you can see the whole process unfold. I hope this helps you get better installs and making more money as a window tinter. We do have courses across Canada and the United States that are open for registration right now. Visit Tint Academy or email me directly at adam@tint.academy for closest location for you. Let's have some success tinting those windows, guys.